Have you been trying to figure out how to get your Vapi assistant to be able to book events into multiple calendars? Well, in today's video, I'm going to quickly guide you on how we can accomplish this. My name is Quincy. I'm the founder of AI, and we provide voice AI solutions to businesses to help them save time and automate the boring stuff. I'm going to show you a quick setup that we can apply to our voice AI assistants so that our assistants can dynamically book events into different calendars through integrating with Cal.com. With that said, let's jump into it. All right, so first things first, to make this happen, we need to set up the multiple calendars in our Google Calendar account. So you're going to want to navigate to calendar.google.com. And here I have 3 different calendars, one for Kim, Peter, and Tom. Now, for this example, I'm going to be simulating an AI receptionist that can book appointments for specific real estate agents on a real estate team. Now, we will have these 3 different calendars. Now, to set up the calendars, you're going to want to navigate to this cog, settings. We're going to click on this, click on settings. And then also you're going to click on add calendar. And then right here, click on create a new calendar. And right here, just give it a name, give it like a descriptive name. And then just click create calendar. And you're going to do this as many times as you want for the amount of calendars that you need for your specific use case. But for now, I just have Kim, Peter, and Tom. Now, once you have all your calendars set up, we're going to navigate to cal.com. So here, I'm in Cal. If you've never used Cal before, you can use the link down below in the description to create your cal.com account. Now, this strategy that I'm going to show you is going to be the free method. Now, there is a way to go about it using Cal's round robin feature or their team calendars. But for that, you'll need to upgrade your plan. But to keep your costs low and be able to implement this for free, you can follow this plan. Or if you want to do the Teams way, which will be a different method on how to go about it, you can click on Teams and then you can select create team, and then there it'll prompt you to upgrade your account. And then you just need to navigate through the documentation on how you can create events based on the different members of the team. But again, this will be the free method where we will dynamically pass in each event ID to the assistant so it can book for a specific agent on the team. Okay. So here I'm in my Cal account. And after you have set up the multiple calendars in Google Calendar, you're going to click on the organization name. Click on My Settings, and then navigate to Calendars. Now here, add to calendar. I'm just going to set mine to Tom, but you can see right here, it says you can override this on the per event basis, which will set up shortly to come. Okay. So I'm just going to select this one so it's not assigned to my main calendar. And then here we want to add the calendars that we want to check for conflicts to prevent double bookings. So I'm going to choose Tom, Kim, and Peter. So choose all the calendars that you just created in your Google Calendar account. Now, once you have all that set, we're going to go back to the home page, and here we can create different event types. Now, the way we can go about it is we can just click on new, and then you can give it a name. Also name it by the agent or the team member that this is going to be for. So it's descriptive. Also give it a description, set your duration, and hit continue. Now, I already have 3 different event types set up. One for Peter, one for Kim, one for Tom, one each for the calendars that I set up in my Google Calendar account. Now, to dive into it, I'm going to click on Peter's, right? So I have it 30-minute virtual call with Peter, good looking realty team, and it's a duration of 30 minutes. Now, what's very important to set up is going to be under the Advanced tab. So here, add to calendar. We want to ensure that we're adding to Peter's calendar. This is how we're going to book the event into the specific calendars that we created on Google, right? And then also ensure that you set it to phone, not email, right? Emails can be very tricky when it comes to voice AI conversational agents. These data points need to be precise. So input validation is very important if you're going to be using emails. But in most cases, I think it's a lot easier to work with phone. And then for this simple, example, just use name, use phone number, and that should be suffice for now to book the events. Now, again, just make sure that you have the correct calendar assigned to the correct event. Now, the way we are going to book the event in is by dynamically referencing the event type ID. So each one of these events are going to have their own unique event type ID, and you can find that by looking at the URL param. So URL param, essentially just look at the URL and you should be seeing a 7-digit combination of numbers, and that is going to be the ID, the event type ID for that specific event. So if you click on all your events, you should see a different unique 7-digit combination, and that is going to be the unique code or the event type ID that we're going to reference to be able to book it into Kim, Tom's, and Peter's calendar. Okay, so now that you have all the different event types set up, now let's just quickly look at Cal's documentation on how we can actually check the availabilities for each of these agents and also book them in. Okay, so to book events, there are going to be 2 endpoints from Cal that we'll need to integrate with. The first one is to check the slots by event type. And then the second API endpoint is to actually book the event into the calendar for that specific agent. Now, you're going to want to navigate to cal.com/docs and then go to the API v2 reference. And the first endpoint is going to be get slots. So we're going to scroll all the way down to the slot section. And the specific endpoint is this. So we need to get available slots for an event type. Now, it shows us various ways on how we can get the events or slots by event type. But the way we're going to go about it is we're going to provide the start, end, and then also the event type ID so that we can reference the specific agent on the real estate team. Okay. So just keep that in mind. We're going to use the start, which is required, end, which is required, and then also the event type ID, which again, we can get by clicking on the events, and then there should be a 7-digit combination, and that is going to be the event type ID for that agent, which in this case is for Peter. Okay. And then again, looking at the documentation, the type of request that it is a get, and we're going to be hitting this URL endpoint. And then in the headers, we need to provide a Cal API version, right? And then also the Cal API version, which it states is right here. Okay. Another thing that you need is a cal.com API key. If you don't know how to do that, just look through the documentation. It should be in API reference 2, getting started. And then it should show you right here how to set up your API key, how to get that. And yes. So once you have that, now let's navigate to Vapi. So here I have a real estate assistant, inbound real estate assistant named Ava, right? And I want to break down a few things on this prompt where we're really making all this happen to be able to pass the event type ID dynamically. So here I have the identity section. I have some rules for date handling. And then here I have this business knowledge and event ID protocol. So just to break this down, when booking appointments in, it's important that you clearly understand which good looking team member will handle the lead. Use the following guide on event IDs so that you can accurately book into the correct calendar, right? So this should actually be event type. So to be specific, let's change this to event type. Okay, perfect. Now here I provided each of the agents' unique event type ID that I got from Cal. So Tom's event type ID is here. Kim's is this. And then Peter's is this. Now, another thing I want to walk you through is the actual booking flow on how we are dynamically passing these event type IDs into the payload when we trigger out and make the tool request. So in this flow, I have use this flow when the user wants to book a new appointment. So first things first is ask for the user's full name and have the user spell it out. This is very crucial. Again, input validation, always have users spell out their names so that you're accurately collecting the data from the user. Ask for their phone number, ask what type of appointment they would like to schedule, ask if they have a preferred agent, Peter, Kim, Tom, and ensure that you use the correct event type ID. If not, user preference. If there's no user preference, then randomly assign an agent to the lead for their appointment. And then it'll ask for their preferred date and time. And then once it collects all those data points, it's going to trigger out the tool for get cal slots, right? And then just to walk you through what's happening with that. So here, I have a book, reschedule, and cancel blueprint. Again, very similar to a video that I've dropped recently on how to build an AI assistant that can book, reschedule, and cancel. Essentially, it is the same blueprint. So if you haven't followed along with that video, I would recommend that you watch that video so you can learn how to build a system on Make that can fully book appointments, reschedule, and cancel so that you have better context of what's going on. Okay, so when we get the cal slots, what we're doing is we're calling this specific tool, get cal open slots, and the data that we're passing in with the tool request is going to be this. So it's this JSON with a key value pair of preferred date and time, right? And then also the event type ID. Now this is where we're dynamically passing in the event type ID based on the preference of the user. So if the user wants to book a buyer consultation with Kim, I've prompted Ava to be able to dynamically take in this event type ID and assign it as this value. Okay. So that is essentially what is working underneath the hood. Now, when we trigger this tool, it connects to the webhook URL to make, right? That goes to this webhook URL. And here we're filtering by the name of the tool that we just called, which is the get cal open slots. Now, the way we're dynamically actually getting the slots, by the agent Kim is here. So we're passing in the event type ID that we're assigning in as a variable, right? So let me take a step back. When the data comes in, we're assigning all the values to the variables. So we have the preferred date time, and then we also have the event type ID that we're assigning as variables, or values to the variable so that we can use it throughout our whole system. Okay. So we have the preferred date time, we have the start, we have the end, which are both required properties by Cal's documentation. And we also have the event type ID. Now it's going to check for Kim's specific openings, and then we will return that back to Vapi. Now, once we get the data back from Make of Kim's open slots, and then the user will choose their time that works best for them. And once confirmed with a good time for their appointment, and then this is when Ava will invoke the book call tool, and the data, the payload that we pass when we actually call this tool is going to include the name, the phone number, the appointment date and time that the user agreed upon. And then again, that dynamic event type ID for Kim, which will have this as the event type ID, right? So we're dynamically checking here for Kim's availability by the event type ID. And then once the user has agreed on the available time according to Kim's calendar, and then we're proceeding with the book call tool. And again, using that dynamic ID to book the event into Kim's calendar. Okay. And then just to walk you through on the other side. So when the book call tool calls, it's going to go to this webhook endpoint. We're going to assign all the the values such as the name, the phone number, the appointment date and time, and the event type ID. And then we're going to move through this route, which is going to filter by the name of the function call. In this case, the function call name will be book call tool, right? And then again, we're hitting Cal's APIs with an HTTP module here on make, where we're passing in all the data points that is defined. So let's go back to Cal's documentation. So here, and it's going to be under bookings. So here we're going to do the post, create a booking. And then here we're shown that it's of type post. This is the URL endpoint. We need these in the headers. We need the content type application JSON and also the Cal API version. If we reference back to the way we set up our HTTP module, we can see we have our API key. We also are hitting that URL endpoint. It's of type post. We have the headers that are required. And then in the request body, the content we're supplying as the start, the appointment date and time. We're getting from the variable, the attendee, so the name that we're getting from the variable or the tool, the variables that we have defined in this module here. And then also the phone number, the time zone, and here the specific event type ID for Kim so that we book it into her calendar. Now that I pretty much walked through the flow, we understand that everything was geared around setting up the prompt to be able to work with this dynamic event type ID, right? Now, one thing I want to note is this method is ideal if your prompt isn't too long, right? So as your prompt gets longer, AI solutions or AI assistants tend to hallucinate more, which could mess up and cause errors with the assistant being able to successfully pass in the right event type ID. So this is a good solution or method if your prompt is relatively short. Now, if your prompt is longer, and then we may need to take this out of the prompt, create another tool, something like get agent's event type ID. We can use something like Airtable or Google Sheet as a source of truth so that we can we can search the table or search the records by the name of the agent. Once we locate the name, we get the event type ID so that Ava can reference that by the tool response and then dynamically pass in the value for the event type ID for the agent. All right. Hopefully that makes sense. But again, just keep that in mind. This solution is ideal if your prompt isn't too long, right? And essentially you should always strive to keep your prompt short so that you reduce hallucinations, improve performance, and also just prevent prompt bloat, which is very, very common. Okay, next up, I want to just run through a quick demo so that you can see how we can book into the different agents' calendars. Okay, so first I'm going to call up the assistant. I'm going to book an appointment in with Kim.
Thank you for calling Good Looking Realty. This is Ava. How can I help you today?
Hi, Ava. My name is Quincy. I actually just moved to the area and I'm looking for my next home purchase and wanted to reach out, see if there's any way I could possibly set something up with a real estate agent on your team.
Hi, Quincy. Welcome to the area. I'd be happy to help you set up an appointment with one of our real estate agents. Could you please provide me with your phone number?
Yes, it's 619-791-9432.
Thank you, Quincy. What type of appointment would you like to schedule? For example, are you looking for a buyer consultation, property showing, or something else?
Buyer consultation.
Great choice. Do you have a preferred agent from our team, Tom, Kim, or Peter? If not, I can assign one for you.
Let's work with Kim.
Perfect. I'll go ahead and book your buyer consultation with Kim. Could you please let me know your preferred date and time for the appointment?
Sure. Let's do next Monday, the 13th. Let's do 3 p.m.
Sorry, a few more seconds. Got it. Just to confirm, I have you scheduled for a buyer consultation with Kim on Monday, October 13th at 3 p.m. PDT. I'll now proceed to finalize your appointment. You're all set for your buyer consultation with Kim on Monday, October 13th at 3 p.m. PDT. You'll receive a confirmation shortly. Thank you for calling Good Looking. Thank you for calling Good Looking Realty. This is Ava. How can I help you today?
Hi, Ava. My name is Quincy, and I'm actually going to be moving out of state. I wanted to talk with one of the real estate agents to see what the home selling process looks like. Is there any way I can schedule an appointment?
Hi, Quincy. I'd be happy to help you schedule an appointment to discuss the home selling process. First, could you please spell your full name for me?
Yes, it is Quincy. Last name is Mccants.
Thank you, Quincy McCants. Could you please provide your phone number?
Sure, it's 619-791-9432.
Great. Thank you for that information. What type of appointment would you like to schedule? This could be a buyer consultation, property showing, or evaluation call, for example.
Like a seller consultation?
Got it. You'd like to schedule a seller consultation. Do you have a preferred agent from our team, Tom, Kim, or Peter? If you don't have a preference, I can assign one for you.
Let's work with Tom.
Perfect. I'll schedule your seller consultation with Tom. Could you please let me know your preferred date and time for the appointment?
Let's do next Tuesday, the 14th at 2 p.m.
I checked Tom's availability, and he has several slots open on Tuesday, October 14th. The available times are 2 p.m. PDT, 2:30 p.m. PDT, 3 p.m. PDT, 3:30 p.m. PDT. Would you like to go with the original time of 2 p.m. or would you prefer a different time?
Yeah, let's stick with 2 p.m., please.
You're all set, Quincy. Your seller consultation with Tom is scheduled for Tuesday, October 14th at 2 p.m. PDT.
Okay, so now let's just check Cal to see what actually got booked through. Okay, so right here, the 30-minute call was scheduled with Kim for Monday, October 13th. And then the 30-minute virtual call with Tom was scheduled as well on Tuesday, October 14th. Now, if we go to our calendar, we can see that we have the call with Kim and also Tom. So now we can see that by using the event type IDs dynamically, we're able to book into multiple calendars. Hopefully this method of booking events into multiple calendars was valuable to you. If you found this video useful at all, please drop a like, subscribe, and also leave a comment down below on other video ideas that you would like me to make. I drop videos weekly on Vapi solutions. If you're a business owner that is ready to integrate voice AI into their business to save time and automate tedious tasks, then feel free to use the link down below in the description so you can book a free discovery call with me. I'll show you how we can help your business. Again, thanks for watching till the end, and I will see you next time. Peace.